No, it's not. It's not like okay. So basically, in Japan, you can have parallel truths, for example. One doesn't necessarily exclude the other, and there is also this. Well, in holistic thinking, we are not making simplifications. We are accept the entire complex reality as it is, and we're trying to understand that complexity by looking at it from all kinds of different angles. Not so much asking the why question, but more looking at it, interpreting.
Yeah, you said before.
Discussing. Yeah.
Still, I don't understand clearly what kind of more concrete example or some more understandable just cases.
Okay.
Do you have some
an example that that we that okay. So let's go back to economics. Basically, economics is basically we try to capture the entire economy in a very simple equation. Like if we look at Keynes, for example, like the gross domestic product, we can measure as a sum of the consumption and investments and export minus import, and with some very simple model, we're trying to capture everything. So this is a typical Western approach to capture the reality, whereas in Japan, one is much more inclined to not simplify everything, but to look at it from the entirety.
You said holistic.
Holistic, yeah. So actually, the risk of our approach, of the European approach, is that we are starting to take analytical. Yeah, it's about simplification, trying to make it simpler and simpler to get to the essence, and follow logical steps so basically we create a model, and then we use that model to control the reality. And sometimes the model.
This is what I don't understand. Are they not logical? Are they not, some analytical?
They are analytical.
No, I'm Japanese.
Oh, Japanese. Oh, I think Japanese have a tendency not to simplify so much. They simplify much less than Europeans.
This is what I do not understand. They cannot be simplified.
Well, basically, they have a tendency, in Japan there is a tendency to look at the complexity and accept the fact that it's complex. And
accept with complexity.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Well, definitely I believe that there is a tendency to include everything in a model. If you look at an average presentation, even a PowerPoint presentation, comparing a Japanese PowerPoint with a European PowerPoint, you will see that in the European presentation, very likely it's much more condensed. There is much less complexity in that presentation.
Only 3 lines.
Yes, only 3 lines. And
Japanese,
they have an entire diagram.
This is a government presentation.
but so there is we are trying to really get to the essence and use that as and then start to believe that is the reality. Where in Japan you not necessarily omit things that are less important. You just keep everything together, and that is the reality.
It means they don't have confidence.
Maybe they feel that they cannot omit.
It means no confidence.
Right.
Like my presentation, I put on everything.
Everything, right? Everything.
And then you can ask them to read instead of explanation.
Right. Right.
Japanese way?
It is absolutely the Japanese way.
Oh.
Right.
understandable.
Right.
American way is just only message.
Exactly.
Some cases only one word.
Right.
6.5%. Do you understand what this means? It's kind of sort of present.
Right. Yeah.
Japanese, they will know. Is the 66.5, 3.8,
Yeah.
8.25? Many.
Exactly. So
we lost. What the word
so don't make. So what's the point? So that's actually very often the feeling that a lot of Western observers have.
I agree with you. Second question. Always I must have some, I don't understand well, model. I ask you question, same question many times, but
right.
Model, but still.
What is the model?
What's the model?
So basically, for example, Keynes created the model of the economy. So the economy is very complex, right? There is a lot of things happening, and money, and a lot of things are depending upon each other. But Keynes made out of this entire complexity a very simple equation that tries to capture the entire complex economic system. So that is model thinking, and we're not only doing that in economics, but we try to do that with everything. And the simpler the model, the better it is.
Why not Japanese?
Yeah, I think that is maybe it is because of consensus building. It is very difficult to persuade everyone to omit, and it's easier to include because you're alienating less people. So if you're making these choices, you have to be confident, like you said, but confidence as an individual to make these choices. We can make these choices easily because we are primarily individuals. In Japanese society, there is more of a consensus idea, and so if omitting too much, that could create resistance. So that is the thing that you exactly do not want to achieve. So perhaps that's one of the reasons why you don't omit. And then there is this mottainai. Like, for example, in the Netherlands, if we are adding new words to the dictionary, we're also taking words out. So we're not letting our dictionary grow and grow and grow and grow like in Japan. Like in Japan, there is this kind of idea of mottainai, or holding on to history and tradition, and holding on to culture, and that reflects in a very large dictionary with a lot of words that have almost similar meanings, and even if they are in complete disuse, they've never used again, they will not be taken out of the dictionary. We do. We take them out of the dictionary. Like every new edition, we take words out and we put new words in instead. But we're not going to let it grow.
But still, I'm not sure.